Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful tasting with the Virtual Tasting Society. My name is Vadim Perlovsky, and today I'm excited to welcome a brand that I have been enjoying for a few years, but it's a brand that most people don't follow. They go under the radar, and those are the brands that we like the most. We want to know about them before everyone else catches on, and we're able to actually stock up and buy a bottle. Speyburn is a classic Speyside distillery, very nice floral flavors. You're not going to get any peat here today, but they do have some really fantastic expressions that we are going to try today. Joining us from Speyburn is Maurice. Maurice, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, guys. I'm Maurice Chevalier the Fourth. I work for IBHL, International Beverage Holdings Limited. And we are associated with Speyburn, Old Pulteney, Ball Blair, Knock, and the Balmenic Distillery. I represent all of the single malts with the exception of Balmenic. The Caroon Scottish Gin is produced on site at Balmenic, and I represent Caroon Gin as well. So great company, great brands. I think the last time I saw you all was a Knock. Was that our last tasting?
I believe so. Yep.
We had a good time there. So I can see a couple of you on screen, so I can do a show of hands just for the people I can see. If you're pretty familiar with Speyburn, can you just do a quick wavy wave? Okay, this is great. Okay, we got a couple there. So this is what's so interesting about this distillery. It's steeped in history. All they do 24/7 is produce whiskey, very accessible whiskey, and it kind of has a cult following. And then there's people that are very familiar with it, and then some people that have never heard about it. And what I heard a couple of times at some of the Whiskey X shows that we were just talking about is I heard on several occasions that people said Speyburn was their first single malt they ever tried. So it's almost kind of a Twilight Zone distillery for me because I just cannot wrap my head around it, the rhyme or reason to it. But let me get into. I got a couple of my crib notes. I want to give you some of the history behind it before we dive in. It was established in 1897 by two brothers, John and Edward Hopkins, and it's in the heart of Speyside. So we're in the Granty Glen, which is like a little valley. And if you've been through Speyside and haven't been to Speyburn, you've driven past it and probably seen it without knowing it. We're reputedly the most photographed distillery in Scotland, and I think one of the reasons for that is the way it was designed. It's a vertical distillery, so the distillery, the pagoda's just jetting out of the hills, so it's very beautiful and very picturesque. Something that we're very, very proud of is part of that beauty of the distillery and the design was by a gentleman named Charles Doig, Charles C. Doig. Is anybody familiar with that name? So this is what's interesting. Charles C. Doig has been long gone, but it's impossible to go to a Scottish distillery without seeing his handiwork. He was the inventor of the Doig ventilation system, which we all know as those beautiful pagodas on top of distilleries. So they're now redundant, but there's no distillery, I think, worth its salt without a beautiful pagoda. So he invented that ventilation system when they were doing the malting and the kilning process that made it very efficient. Not only that, he also designed the drum maltings at our distillery. We were the first distillery to have mechanized drum maltings. They're still on site. They're mothballed, but they're part of a heritage site inside the distillery. So if you ever take a tour of the distillery, you'll be able to see those drum maltings. They're very, very impressive. And he actually designed our distillery. So we're very proud that we've got such a iconic person in the Scottish whiskey lore that actually designed and built our distillery. So back in 1897, as I'd mentioned, that was also Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee, the year of her Diamond Jubilee. So the distillery was primed to start in November of that year. And just like opening up a restaurant, you always add 3 months to whatever your actual go date is. So they were hell-bent on doing at least one run of whiskey and get them into cask to celebrate and date the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. So we were running out of time, and we pulled the trigger on Christmas Eve, 1897. And we fired up the still. That was the good news. The bad news is we did not have any doors or windows in the distillery. And I'll let you, I don't think you have to be a geography major to realize what the weather conditions were on Christmas Eve in Scotland. So probably wasn't the best optimum time to make whiskey, but that was a kind of a tribute to our commitment to the Queen and to just getting out some whiskey. Another interesting point is our water source comes from the Grantee Burn, and the Grantee Burn is a tributary that cuts off and derives from the River Spey. And most Speyside distilleries, they'll use Speyside water, or water from the River Spey to actually just cool in their worm and shell and tube condensers, or the worm tubs, and actually not actually use the water. We're actually using water from the River Spey. So I think that makes us super Speyside. So we've got a very clean water source from the River Spey, and we have the exclusive rights to that water, and it runs right past the distillery. We've also designed a specific cooling pond that rests outside the distillery as well, and that water is cooled down until it's released back into the River Spey, and that's our commitment to the ecology, and also not disturbing the salmon that are a big part of our history and our livelihood in Scotland. What else we have? Grantee Burn water, the stills. I'm always that guy that was enamored with the size and the shape of stills in any said distillery. Gordon Bruce of Anock, he was the one that told me that don't get too enamored with it. Yeah, it's great to talk about the line arm and the shape, and the boil balls or lack thereof of stills, but your still is a means of extraction, and it will it'll take into account about 15 to no more than 20% of your whiskey. And he said to me that it's your beer. So whiskey is what beer wants to be when it grows up. So if you don't take care of your fermentation process, if you don't start with a good beer, it doesn't matter how cool or crazy your still looks, you're just kind of polishing a turd, to put it bluntly. You need to start with a good beer. So our fermentation process is averaged between 48 to 60 hours, and that results in a very clean wort. And that's going to attribute to the fruity aspects of Speyburn that you'll pick up specifically in the tenure. I get a lot of fruit from the tenure. And then also in a fermentation process, we did a $6 million renovation in the distillery circa 2016. And we left 4 wooden washbacks, Douglas fir washbacks, and then brought in 15 stainless steel washbacks. And I'm happy about the 4 Douglas fir washbacks, because that fermentation process, you want that secondary fermentation. So you want your wash and your wort to be a little dirty. You want those congeners, those fatty acids that are your flavor agents during the maturation process. So for those of you at home, the way I've got it set out is we're going to start with the Braden Ulrich, followed by the Speyburn 10-year-old. Then we'll do the Aranta cask, the companion cask, and then we'll wrap up with our 2 sherry bombs, the 15 and the 18. So with that, let me get prepared here. Pour myself a wee dram. Okay, Bradenoric means golden salmon, and that's to connect back to our connection with Speyside, the River Spey, and the life source of that river, which is the salmon, which has sustained the Scottish people going all the way back to the Picts, to the Iron Age, and beyond. Bradenoric, I'm going to be very transparent for you. I'm 53 years old. This is not my go-to for the line. This is my highball and my single malt for mixability. It's very young, and you're going to get tons of cereal notes on it, but there's a little heat, but you do get the fruit component on it. So know that going in as we tuck in. And then after your first nip into it, I'd invite you to add just one little drop of water, and you'll see how that will open up both the aroma and then also the fruit and provide an additional creaminess to this expression.
Originally, we were not going to feature the Bradenoric because we thought we wanted to elevate it, the experience.
Yeah.
And then after quite a bit of research, I realized there are no other expressions. So it was either do 5 or throw in Bradenoric. And so we did.
Yeah.
That you are.
But I'm glad we did, because I want to tell that story. It is good for a long drink. But because of its youth, and we're looking at an average weight of about 6 years, it just needs a little bit more time, a little bit more maturation. Having said that, we bottled it, we shipped it here. This is my go-to for highballs. And then I'll do variations of some seasonal berries, kind of a cobbler. Actually, if any of you make it out to Orange County, I know some of you are shoppers of High Times or the mall, our big, beautiful mall. There's a great restaurant that's a really huge supporter of Speyburn called Vaca, V-A-C-A. It's a Spanish restaurant, features Spanish tapas, but they've used Bradenoric and the 10-year in several different cocktails and sherry cobblers as well. So it does add a little weight and grip to the cocktail. Any questions that I can? I saw a couple of things come in. I didn't see. If there's anything I'm missing, just let me know.
No, you're good.
Good. Okay.
I mean, the 40% kind of makes me not want to add the water, but I did
Correct.
just because you told me to. And it really did bring out the fruitiness of it. So I was really not wanting to add the water, but adding it did bring out the floral notes. So I did though add my trusty water dropper. So don't add more than a drop.
No, one drop a day.
And it did bring out the creaminess as well, like you said. So yeah, thanks for the tip. And
yeah,
it's a very drinkable scotch. Yeah.
Also, when we were going back to our past tasting of a knock, we were talking about the political climate and how everything is going up in price, not to mention single malts. This is where you'll start to really love Speyburn. Speyburn is one of the most affordable single malts on the market. Having said that, I'm going to tell you, the next brand ambassador may not tell you, or the one after him may not tell you, everything in the Scotch whiskey world is going up in price. So if you didn't know it now, then you know it now. So having said that, factoring in the price increase that we'll have for Speyburn, it's still going to be very affordable. So Bradenoric is the average price is $25 bottle cost. So
good.
keep that in mind.
I think Garada's on sale right now too, by the way, at Cano.
Yep, stacking them high and let them fly. Now
The
let's go
prices
to
on these
the,
are pretty insane.
they're amazing, right?
I'm really excited to do. One of the reasons I was really excited to feature this brand is because, as a few members have said, it punches well above its weight. So like you don't expect it to be as good as it is at the very affordable price it is. I've compared a few stores, and I'll share some links in the chat that, I mean, I'm going to be picking up a few bottles myself. Like you mentioned, High Time. When we get to the Aranta, the High Time has it for $25. That's a joke. It's an amazing bottle.
Wow.
Yeah, I
I think I
featured.
just saw it on Cano too. So for those of us that aren't down that way,
Yeah,
it is,
30.
yeah.
Normally 45 though. So it's a fantastic bottle. But I did an event for you guys last year, I believe. Maurice, I represented Speyburn at an event here in downtown LA, and Aranta was the favorite of the Speyburn.
that was a
lineup.
favorite. Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pour the 10-year now.
Mm.
And you're going to really see what that additional age is bringing to the table. So Brad and Ordick was all ex-bourbon cask. With the 10-year, we have first and second fill bourbon cask, ex-bourbon cask, and just a kiss of sherry for some color and a little bit of body. This is color adjusted, not to an extreme, just enough to make it consistent for the marketplace. And then all of our other expressions for the evening are going to be non-chill filtered and no color added. So as I had mentioned earlier, several people had mentioned Speyburn being their first single malt. They were referring to the 10-year. And what's great about the 10-year, it has enough just body to it to appeal to the seasoned single malt drinker, but it's very, very accessible to the newbie. A little astringent on the front, then opens up, got some wood notes, lots of fruit. I usually get pears. Some of the tasting notes that I see consistently are green apple, but I do get pear for me personally. And then on the back end, a little bit of a creamy note. Very soft, very approachable. This is a great hot weather dram. I do sours with it. Great mouthfeel.
I think this is good for the morning because it's only a 40% ABV.
Yeah.
So while everybody else is doing their mimosas, yeah.
Also, for you high time shoppers, Keith just brought in a new stack. So there is tons of Speyburn 10 to be had. And I'll give you a little secret hack. The last time I checked, it was about 2 weeks ago, we still had some old holiday packs of Speyburn 10 that came with a little Glencairn and a little vial of Speyside water. Those are hitting around there towards the back when you go to check out. Those are $20 out the door, if they're still there. But I saw them kind of tucked away. So look for those.
Well, now I'm mad I didn't get a Glencairn. We did give away a couple of those little Speyside waters.
I would imagine
Wow.
you're in need of Glencairns.
No, I'm okay, thank you. I'm sure the
Well, what a
members
nice
will
little
never say
gift.
no.
20
For sure.
bucks out the door. What a nice little Christmas gift.
Absolutely.
It's got a funk on the nose. It's interesting. I wonder where that's from.
My guesstimation would be that would be any residual contact with the sherry. I can't imagine it coming from the fermentation process, because the fermentation is where we're getting all of that fruit and floral notes.
I noticed that too, Vadim.
Amanda gets the pear.
It was the first thing that hit my nose.
And then someone earlier, I didn't catch the name, but they brought in the chocolate notes as well.
Yeah. That's nice.
There's a little funk on the nose, but on the palate, it's nice and sweet. No complaints.
Beautiful. Get a little grape note as well. There we go. Okay, I am going to pour my Aranta. Aranta being the Gallic word for intrepid or bold. And what we're trying to do with both the Aranta and the companion cask was to kind of retrace the history with Kentucky and how those barrels came to Scotland, and then we had that little back and forth trade of, you Yanks can't use those barrels anymore, we'll be happy to take them off your hands for you. So with the Aranta cask, we have first fill white oak ex-bourbon cask from various distilleries. And when we get to the companion cask, that's gonna change. There's gonna be a slight difference, but a significant one. We have throughout of all of our distilleries a very strict and rigorous cask program, but the cask chosen for the Aranta get a 2 and 3 times once over on them. So we want to make sure that they are the top tier of all the bourbon cask that we bring in for the Aranta expression. And what this is doing is showing you that kind of the early stage of whiskey, where our new make is going into barrels that haven't been second or third fill, but just first fill. So the only thing that's been in there prior was Kentucky bourbon.
And this is a US exclusive, right?
Yes, thank you very much. The Aranta and the companion cask are both US exclusives.
Which Kentucky bourbon barrel can you tell us?
So Aranta is going to be a melange of different ones, and the companion's going to be, I'll tell you when we get to that one. Maybe. Love the nose. I still get some fruit, but I get and this is where I'd love you guys to type in what you're tasting and smelling, because I always joke around that there is a dark side that some brand ambassadors can take, and that's knowing the power of suggestion, because we still have these little lizard brains. And if I say banana enough times, I can get 3 of you online to think, yeah, I do taste bananas, when there's not a banana note to be found. So I try not to blurt out too many notes, but if something really sticks out to me, I'll tell you what it is.
You got to stop using your Jedi powers, Maurice.
Exactly.
I don't know about anybody else, but I taste a
Cherries.
lot of banana on this one.
This is not the banana you're looking for. Move along.
I taste, you should
Look at my
check the
okra
Facebook
again.
group on Saturday morning and sign up for the next tasting.
I get a nod of like creamy vanilla on the palate, which I get a lot from white oak stuff, which I like quite a bit.
We had cherries earlier. God, there's something. I'm almost there. A shortbread. Kind of a wine grape skins, maybe. Little peach, little dried peach. And now I'm going to add my 1 drop of water. So it seems that my 1 drop of water actually softened the nose a little bit. It didn't really blow out the florals on it.
What I like about this is that every sip, I feel like I get something a little different.
A little different, right?
You know, it's like going to see a great movie multiple times. Every time you see it, you're going to see something different. And I feel like every sip I get a little something, a more nuanced taste or something. It's nice. Very nice.
Mine is Blade Runner 2049. My wife refuses to, I can't watch that movie anymore when she's in the house. She goes, "You've watched this like 100 times, but that's a movie I always get something different every time I see it."
I added that water and it blew the nose for me.
Blew the nose.
Yeah, it blew the nose.
We're on the Aranta, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It blew
Yeah,
the nose.
I put it in the chat, but the first time I ever found this one was in a random bourbon bar, and it was sitting on the bottom shelf, and I didn't know what the heck it was. And they had it for, he just gave it to me for $5-6 a pour. But I love the way the impact, because the only one I'd had before this was the 10. But I love how different this tastes than the 10, just because of that first fill, that it has more of the wood and a lot more of the vanilla.
I would, and it was interesting because on the palate, I said that I was getting a sweet crema. I wasn't gonna say a creme brulee. It's not that. It is a sweet crema. And it's not like sweet cream. It's a sweet crema.
So that's what I was struggling with, because I had a mental image of like a shortbread or like an angel cake, but I think that's more dialed in to what you're picking up, that crema.
Mm-hmm. And I liked it. And now, like I said, I added that drop of water and it blew it. I'm mad. I should not have added that.
That just tells you they proofed it to the right point.
Well, you know what?
Lucky for you.
I
You can-
feel like this. I feel like this drink's hotter than 46 proof, and then a little drop tamed that down. But one little tiny drop, it really did change it, significantly, like Elisa was saying. So yeah.
This dropped it too much for me. So now I've
What do you
lost all
mean?
that loveliness.
What do you mean by
from-
blew it, since I'm not adding water ever? So what do you
No, well, I'm not getting that lovely sweet crema. I am not getting any of the cherry that I loved on the nose. But Alec and I split this, so I can always knock it back or pour it out and drink the next one. So,
Sorry, Alec, I think you just lost your dram for the night.
Luckily, you can pick up a bottle and enjoy it neat.
So average cost based on a couple of places I looked is about 46 a bottle. So still.
So 30 at K&L is and 25 at High Time. Damn.
since you're running down the hatch down there, Benno.
Benno, how you been, brother? It's been a while.
Yeah, good. Just yeah, busy. New job, new stuff, lots. But yeah, good to see you. Sorry I was late. Speaking of new job, was late calls with like Hong Kong and APAC and stuff. So
Got to take care of business.
Would love to rub down there to run, High Time and pick up that fancy little $20 thing, but paying for the gas to get down there, driving down there ain't worth that $5.
That's why you get a case. and then you're saving $30. And you make it a beach
Yeah,
day,
I don't
and you get
need,
to visit Fernando.
I don't need to do that.
That justifies the airline ticket, I'm sure.
So what do you get the little glass with? Which expression?
It was a tiny Glencairn glass and then like a little vial, it's like marketing purpose of Speyside water.
It's a 10-year.
Yeah, but which expression?
10
Oh, it was a 10-year.
10-year.
I'm sorry.
10-year,
yeah.
okay. All right.
So
I
10
mean,
years is, I think it's safe to say it's the flagship, right?
Absolutely. The 10 is the flagship.
yeah, I'm thinking of holiday gifts, so.
Yeah, someone said that the 46 drinks hotter, and it definitely does, but that's, I think, good because it's not as insipid as a lot of other 46%. So there's a lot going on. You said this was finished in sherry, Maurice?
Yeah, a kiss. It's mostly ex-bourbon, first and second fill, and that's where you're getting the vanilla.
You're talking
for
about the 10-year. No. I think Ben
No,
was
I'm
talking
confused.
about
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yep.
We're on the 10. We're talking about the gift packs, and I was thinking 10. So you're talking about the Aranta or
yeah. Mhm.
the
no?
Aranta.
Aranta is no sherry whatsoever.
No sherry? Okay.
Yeah.
It's 100% first
Aranta-
fill ex-bourbon, right?
So Aranta and companion cast first fill white oak American ex bourbon.
First of all, white oak American ex bourbon. Okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting going back to the 10 after the Aranta because the fruit just pours out of the glass, out of the 10 after the Aranta, which has so much vanilla.
Oh, okay, right. Now, yeah, you're right. I see that.
I
Interesting.
mean, I get the vanilla, but like I said, on that first taste on my palate, there's a sweet crema. I mean, I get the vanilla like you would on a creme brulee or, I've gotten that before, but this wasn't like that vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
It
No,
wasn't-
I think I compared it to like a parfait, that yogurty kind of thickened vanilla flavor.
I think that's why I was saying a sweet crema.
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to say it. And I was saying it to Alec. I said, this isn't like a creme brulee. It's not like a lemon, even a yogurt would have that sour note to it. This, or like a creme fraiche. It's like that. It's not got any sourness to it. It's just this lovely sweet crema that you would put on a dessert.
And I apologize because I missed it. If you don't mind for a second going back, the Braden Auroch, which was the first one, is that also just bourbon or?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were fine. You're fine on that one. Enjoy your highball, your Braden Auroch highballs.
Oh, you guys were making highballs out of them?
That's our suggested because it's very, very young.
How young we talking? Minimum?
Weighted average 6.
Okay.
So tons of cereal notes, wee bit of fruit, but more of a mixer. So we're talking highballs, cobblers, and just other mixed whiskey cocktails.
Or maybe whip it into like a caramel glaze for some like dessert.
With some crema on top.
See?
We'll put Adam to work so he can make some lovely desserts someday for,
We've come full circle on the crema.
Ooh.
So what do you think, Aranta cast? Thumbs up, good?
Great.
It's my favorite
Very
so far.
And I
I
owe
really
you,
wanna do a
I owe you a
side-by-side.
bottle of 10-year or Aranta, I'm sorry. For suggesting the water. My apologies.
I'm really excited.
Never
try
gonna let
some
me live that
side-by-side
down.
with the companion cask, the 2 bourbon casks.
What was that?
I'm looking forward to the companion cask compared to the Aranta because I haven't been able to find it anywhere here.
Let's fix that. I'll put a call into my man Keith. Get that going. So I've got my companion cast poured in my glass. You guys let me know when you're ready to roll. Ready? So Aranta, we said first fill white oak ex-American bourbon. different distilleries. Companion cast is only coming from one distillery. Does anybody know which distillery? Bottom, you know, right?
PT.
I'll give you a hint. So I've got Cherokee Indian blood on my mom's side. And there's a poem that I may answer the clue. So it goes something like this. If you look on the plain long enough, you will one day find traces of buffalo.
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace.
How'd you
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Jim
Heaven
Beam.
Hill.
Wait.
Heaven Hill.
What I
You guys
miss?
are good. You guys are really good.
It's
Yeah,
not
so this is,
Yellowstone. I thought
Buffalo
it was
Trace.
Yellowstone barrels.
Oh, gotcha. He was covertly explaining.
I mean, they do make most of those barrels down there in Kentucky. I mean, they make their own, right? So where are you gonna get most of your barrels, right?
Yep. And again, like the Aranta, this is a US only release. I love the nose on this. Is
Is
I
the
wanna
companion
say
cast that we're on?
perfumey is not the right word, but it reminds me, it takes me back grandpa's house, grandma and grandpa's house, a specific room where you've got cedar in the closet, but you've got like the old carpet, you got cigar box, but it's all those grandpa smells at grandma and grandpa's house. Kind of it's there's a certain thing it's bringing back. A little sweetness, like I don't know if you're familiar with Latakia. It's a specific type of pipe tobacco. It's got that sweet smell, but not that funk on the back end.
Which one is it, Maurice?
It's called Latakia. It's basically it's what the old Englishman would smoke, like Sherlock Holmes. It's Latakia from not Turkey, from Syria.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
very smoky, but very sweet.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar with Perique, but I haven't heard of that one. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Perique's, but Perique is that's not
Spicy.
here, right, in the US, but it's
New Orleans.
in New Orleans, yeah. It would be in that vein, but Latakia is very old school. Think C.S. Lewis, Tolkien, Sherlock Holmes,
Got
those
it.
dudes. That's what they were smoking, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, on the companion cask, I get a slight. It's like leftover peanut shells and skins.
Mm.
And why is this one called companion cask?
I need to check with my marketing. I think they did companion. Just my assumption is that because we're using just one specific distillery, so the Buffalo Traces are
left alone.
If somebody read the description of the event, Speyburn Companion Cask is a tribute to the enduring connection and rich traditions shared by Speyside and Kentucky. I spent so much time
teeing
writing
you
this
up.
stuff.
I was just teeing you up there, Vadim. I served it up for you and you hit it out.
I
of the
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
And that
Well,
both of them can sometimes find each other on the map.
Mhm.
yeah.
This is so very different than the errata. I mean, it's completely upside down.
So for me, that's the beauty of single malts. We're talking the same thing, but we're not, right? So Aranta again, same first fill, ex-bourbon, where we're different distilleries. And this you're zeroing in on one specific cask type distillery, or not cask type, but distillery.
Do you guys ever at Speyburn, I assume not, but start doing interesting things with like varying the fermentation times, temperatures, or sort of tinkering the yeast? Are you pitching these? Is any of that stuff happening, or is everything pretty much exactly the same runs off the stills, and then just now at this point it's the wood?
Yeah, so I think for Speyburn, they wouldn't do it even if they could. And what I mean by that, it is this beautiful, quaint, old school distillery. But when you walk in and see those that huge wash still and the slightly less huge spirit stills, 2 spirit stills, they don't have time for nuances like that. As another example, when I was touring the different distilleries, so like for example, let's think like Old Pulteney and Knockdhu and Ball Blair, they'll typically have for their fermentation times the longs and shorts.
Mhm.
So the longs will be like if it's holiday or whatever, but you have a slightly, for some reason, you're going to have a slightly longer fermentation time. I have the audacity to ask the distilling crew what their longs and shorts were.
Mm.
And they kind of laughed. They looked at me like, oh, that's so adorable, you little yank.
Mm.
They don't have time for it. It's no longs and shorts. It's all day.
Ah.
The distillery does not shut down. Well, rarely
Mhm.
for mandatory cleaning, but all they do is make whiskey. So they couldn't do that. We would a distillery that would be able to do that would be Knockdhu, a Knock.
Cool.
Because we've got our peated expressions that we do like Raskin and Peat Heart. They have the flexibility to do something like that. Pulteney wouldn't be, that's not really their jam. It's maritime. We use Sassy malt that yields the best in that environment, in that climate. But I'd say out of all of our distilleries, if we were ever to do that, Knockdhu distillery would probably be the one that would do it and do it well.
Yep.
If they're cranking out whiskey all day long, where's that whiskey going? Because as we discussed, I mean, Speyburn isn't exactly flying off the shelves in California.
It's not flying off the shelves here.
Uh-huh.
So internationally, so you think your other big whiskey markets, so we do well in
France and India.
France, we do well in Spain, Asian market.
Okay.
We crush it. And again, go back to the 10, think of places like Taiwan, Southeast Asia, high heat, high humidity, India. We do pretty well in India as well.
And I've noticed your holiday packs go quick here in Michigan. That
Out in Michigan.
it's one of those we don't know people that don't know what to buy for someone for Christmas, but they know they like whiskey, especially Scotch. It's just a nice bottle.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're not gonna like drive anyone away like I did. What was it? I went to a friend's place. I brought some bottles. It was a birthday thing. And they were like, oh, let's do a quick whiskey tasting. This was like at midnight, right, on Sunday. And I pulled out like a 60%, single cask of Allmore from Single Cask Nation. And then there was like a really 63% Texas whiskey from Balcones. And then like something else. And then everyone was just like, and I realized, oh, wait, it's a bunch of noobs. And everyone's like, it just burns. And all they tasted was burning. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a time and a place, and Speyburn I think would have been much better suited for that occasion.
Speyburn 10 for the holidays is the world's best holiday crime. For the price point, you get an age statement, and you've got a single malt that's going to be approachable. You're not going to get it burns, and you have the ability that if someone's not a big whiskey drinker or whatever, that bottle's going to go by the end of the night, Thanksgiving or Christmas or pick your holiday. So, and you might have the privilege of turning somebody onto the category. So that's cool too.
Yeah.
That was funny. You said it's not going to burn, Speyburn. Sorry.
Does this go into any
comedian here.
blend?
Feel the Speyburn? Speyburns.
What was that, Jimshi? Did you say something?
Yeah, I was asking, does this go into any of the blends, or are they associated with any other brand?
This primarily goes into Hanky Bannister. Hanky Bannister is the blend that we own. So that is a blend of all of our distilleries. So Balmenic, Bulblair, Speyburn, Noctu.
What's it
and
called?
Hanky Bannister.
I've literally never heard of it. Where do you sell this?
Yeah, so
He's the oldest brother in
God.
Peaky Blinders.
give me one second. I've got a
That's what it sounds like.
I have never heard this before,
I mean, the
ever.
name-
So now
sounds
we're
like a
giant
joke.
posters.
Oh wait, shit, it's real. He actually has a bottle. Okay.
Hanky Bannister is what happens when I drink too much tenure.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like Cranky Barrister, which is like what Alec usually is when he's, had
Yeah,
not enough
exactly.
sleep. You like that, Alec?
So Hanky Bannister, we have it in some controlled states. They have it in the well at Bosscat Kitchen down here in Orange
and
County.
Bosscat? Okay.
We sell a lot in Canada. We also have a brand called Catos, C-A-T-O. I always call it Catos, but it's called Catos. Yeah, Hanky Banner, it's just one of those things where we didn't really put a big push on it. But to answer your original question, is it Jamshid? Yeah. That's where a lot of Speyburn goes into, is Hanky Bannister.
I've literally never even heard that name
Thank you.
stated. That's
I haven't either. How funny.
And now, like, I really want like go-go dancing ads.
I mean, I literally want a bottle just so I can pull it out for people so I can say the name, Hanky
I
Bannister.
mean, Hanky Bannister, I
Bannister.
just told Alec to look at it. I said, look at that name.
Well, I was gonna say, like, is there a story behind the name of this one?
Yeah, it's
I can't wait. And the recording is on.
yeah.
Let's
Can
go.
we turn the recording off?
Fantastic.
Hey
Like-
man, come on now. Gotta pace yourselves.
The
Okay, we
15
conclude that
What-
concludes our salacious story of Hanky
that
Bannister.
you missed because you weren't here, suckers.
Where can we get the companion cask?
It's a good question.
Companion cask. But when was the last time you were at? I know we had it at High Times. I hate to be such a fanboy,
not
of
a High
Times,
Time.
but it's like at 10 minutes from my house.
It's they don't have it on their website.
Okay, so K&L would be my next guess of the logical place that would have that. Nope.
They don't have it on their website.
Okay. Let me make
Hmm.
note.
I mean, it sounds like a brand that you find at the bottom of like a random liquor store off like the highway, just like all covered.
No,
in
no, no.
dust.
She's talking about the companion cask, not
Oh,
not the
companion
Hanky
cask,
Panky.
sorry.
Yeah.
Total Wine lists it as one of their spirits direct.
Total Wine.
Really? I didn't see it.
I don't know what stores it might be in, but it's listed under their spirits direct program.
We
I
don't-
really enjoyed that.
Okay,
the
let's
companion.
chat after this. I'll make sure you get a bottle.
Thank
Gotcha.
you.
we don't have a Total Wine near us, so
There's one in Torrance. We can. It's not that far from you.
the 405 is my great divide.
One's opening. in Culver City.
They
Are you
deliver.
north or south of it?
West.
We're west.
west
Vino
of it.
knows.
They're in Santa Monica, far Santa Monica, basically.
There's one opening in Culver City. What used to be the Osh, right there at 405-90 by the Fox Hills Mall.
Hmm.
Well, so we're in Santa Monica and the 3x3 Santa Monica thing is kind of our.
Didn't
No,
I
I'm-
see you in downtown like on Tuesday?
We
Yeah, I'm with Benno. I just tried the
Free food
15.
and alcohol.
Wait, Jason, I want to hear this. Tell me more.
I just
about
tried the
how-
15 and holy shit, that's nice.
Let's
Right,
get to
are
the
we-
15.
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let's get
here
some
we
sherry.
go. Here we
Everyone
go.
go to the 15.
We're getting off the rails here. We've got
The rails. There were never
We
any
got-
rails here, Maurice.
we got Hanky Bannister 405
Oh,
Crim.
Oh, God.
Okay, so let's pour our 15.
Damn, that's like, damn.
Yeah. That Spanish oak does something
See,
special.
this is where it's starting to hit more of that, where you really expect kind of a really great single malt scotch is gonna start to hit you.
Okay, here are the specs. All right. Let's tuck in, put those seatbelts on. The 15 and the 18 are a vatting of various cask types. So we've got not only various cask types, but various char levels, the different some of the different barrels. So we have second and third fill ex bourbon cask. We have hogsheads, some hoggies, and then we have sherry casks that have been seasoned. American oak cask and Spanish oak casks that have been seasoned with sherry, Oloroso sherry.
Mhm.
So the American oak, again, that's white oak, and the Spanish oak, people, that's kind of a term like, does it like, what does that mean? So the Spanish oak, typically when we mention Spanish oak from our company, it's Galician oak from what is that, northwestern Spain?
See,
So each cask is aged separately and then vatted together. So you have 15 years and 18 years aged, 15 years for the 15, 18 for the 18, aged separately and then vatted together. So a very old school form of for blending.
Mm. That's
The-
nice.
So let me see those notes. What are we getting on the nose, let me check my chat here.
Getting a really nice raisin toast.
getting raisin.
We don't have notes about the notes in the notes.
Raisins you're only getting that from the sherry. That's indicative. So raisins, dates, figs, all those dark stewed fruits. Beautiful nose.
That sweetness I'm getting is like a turbinado sugar. It's a really nice brown sugar, dark sugar note, like a turbinado sugar. Because it's not maple sugar. It's not even just a dark syrup. It's nice.
And again, those of you who want to venture out to the great Orange County, one of my favorite accounts, especially with this weather changing, hopefully that long sleeve weather, I would invite you to stop by Five Crowns and Corona del Mar and or the Sidebar, which is located inside. We have Speyburn 15 on the menu. All day, every day.
Nice.
What a great pair for a nice slab of King's Cut prime rib. On a cold day with a fireplace, they have a live fireplace in there.
Fireplace is good. Speyburn would be good. Meat, not so much.
So again, with everything going up in price, Speyburn, even your sherry bombs are going to still be in that fairly affordable range. Bino, jump back in real quick.
Yeah, so basically on this one, I'm getting this like rich, soft, not too sweet caramel. And also the real nice thing about it is that what I really like about it is that softness carries over to like the mouthfeel. So, you know, a lot of whiskeys, high ABV or not, there's just like a sharpness or an alcohol sharpness, but I'm assuming that from just like how rounded it is in the palate, there's probably just a lot more like larger fatty, you know, oil compounds present on this, because it's just really, this is just awesome. And I did not expect to find myself saying that about a 46% ABV.
I agree, but Benno and I disagree about the proof chasing. Although we love each other very much.
But no, this one is, I need to get a bottle of this.
Yeah, I think the tannins from that Spanish oak really up the complexity, because it's a nice nose. It really is, and the sherry and impacts the nose, but it's not until you taste the palate and you get that impact that it really becomes something special.
The other honorable mention is Mother Nature, because that is all that sherry is done in dunnage warehouses.
I was going to ask about the dunnage. So basically, that's just the standard old school, just 2-tier, nice earth, or what exactly?
We can go up to three tiers.
3. Okay.
Yeah. But when we close that door, we don't ask any questions, and Mother Nature doesn't tell us any lies. And when we come back in and check on it, she does her thing. She goes, "You guys do your thing. You take care of the beer, the wort, the fermentation. I'll do when these sherry butts are in the dunnage, I'll take over. I got it from here. I got you." And so you've got you got those earthen floors, so you're not getting tons of fluctuation in temperature, but you've got that humidity up, and it's just a great environment for aging anything in a sherry butt, let alone hogshead or ex-bourbon cask.
And so, yeah, we're talking, you said, I heard Spanish oak, so specifically ex-sherry, any particular bodegas we're talking about, or?
Yeah, you know what? I actually have that, because that comes up a lot. Give me 1 second. Bodega Jose y Miguel Martin. Jose and Miguel Martin.
I wish that you guys were in bars more than just, down there in Costa Mesa and Vaca.
Yeah, so what we can do is help each other out, because that is my biggest frustration, because if you don't see products at the bar, how are you going to know to pull the trigger when you see it at a store? So if you all would like to compile a list of places, your watering holes, I will make the commitment to get my butt out there and make presentations, and try to the best of my ability to get these guys turned on to our brands. But I think you all agree, like, do we have anybody that thought the 15 was a stinker? Or are we all pretty much in line that this is a solid, right? Yeah. No
By the
reason
way,
for this not
solid.
to be in.
By the way, real quick, guys, this is Sarah Jane. She's going to be sitting in for me while I go pick up dinner.
Okay.
I love it.
I know
love
nothing.
it.
Much better looking than me. So.
Sarah Jane,
Howdy.
you don't have to know anything, just drink.
Just drink.
Just randomly be pretentious.
Oh,
You'll be fine.
Hello,
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Jane.
Sarah
But
Jane.
We're
Uh,
fellow drammers.
Maurice,
Mhm.
what I have done in the past is I've gone to bars, and everything they have is super expensive and crazy, and of course their markup is like 5 times 10 times the bottle price, and it's really challenging if you want to get a couple of glasses. I mean, it's just like it kind of breaks the bank.
Mhm.
So I know this brand, and I will not name it because we're being recorded, but I went into these bars and I said, if you don't have that brand on your bar, you're just silly, because it's inexpensive and everybody will enjoy it, whether they're a bourbon drinker, a Scotch drinker, or an Irish whiskey drinker. And I've gone back to those same bars, and they have stocked it.
Yeah.
So it's really as simple as asking for it and explaining the price point, because when they understand the price point, they're gonna charge a nice penny for this, but not crazy, and their customers are gonna be pleased.
Well, even if you look at something like the Speyburn 10, you would have to imagine that they're going to be in profit by dram number 3, right?
Right. That,
So why wouldn't
again,
you, right? It's a no-brainer.
and that's why I think you take, if we all go into our bars and we say, if you're not stocking Speyburn, you're kind of silly, because
Yeah.
price point works out well for you and for me. And I mean, they're business people, they get it. It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
that's going back to my intro when we just started. That's that Twilight Zone part of this distillery. It's like this hidden gem. It's been around 1897. I think they're going to make it, right? I think it's a long enough proof of concept for that distillery, and Macallan and other brands have shown, like, people like sherry, they like their sherry cask. So this hits all those notes, ticks all those boxes. So yeah,
I hope that
struggle continues.
oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
please.
I was gonna say, Kate, I hope that you also just punctuated your your explanation by flipping a table over and leaving.
No, because they're never
I'm
gonna want me
kidding.
back.
No, she did, but
authoritatively.
Oh,
no,
no.
I don't know.
They
Should we,
stopped it after I gave them my input, so it worked. Yeah.
Awesome.
One day when I grow up, I want to be as influential as Kate.
Got to remember that.
yeah, I mean,
That
the
said,
fact that you can
as
sell
we-
Speyburn 10 for $6 a pour and make money off of it, that's just stupid as a bartender to not have.
yeah.
Well, and you can use it as a mixing whiskey as well, which you're not going to feel bad about that. Yeah.
So to review, Speyburn 15. We've got various casks, various char levels, second, third fill ex bourbon, hogsheads, and seasoned American white oak, and seasoned Spanish oak from Galicia, Spain, España. All aged separately for 15 years and then vatted together to produce this beautiful dram. And with that, I will await to when everyone wants to go to the 18.
Well, perfect.
I'm out of 15 now, so 18.
I'm sorry, the 18. Sorry.
As we transition into our last dram, I invite you to pour yourself some and raise a glass. Everybody's on camera. I love it. Raise a glass and smile to the camera. Dino's having a ton of fun over there.
That one was spicy. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't know where we were in the whole process. Okay, now I'm trying this one. Okay.
We're
Okay.
drinking.
Everyone smile to the camera. Cheers. Got it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maurice. Thank you for spending the evening with us. Thank you to everyone for being here, and to Speyburn.
Thank you, guys.
Told Alec to get ready for the toast part.
I was ready. I poured the dram 20 minutes ago.
We got
All
him, we're
right,
both
you
smiling.
two. All right, you two.
Hmm.
Completely different nose.
The 18 reminds me more. I'm in classic Scotch Macallan area of very sherry forward, very sherry impact, but not as much tannins as the 15.
Right.
This is smooth. This is silk.
The nose is definitely Scotch.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're spot on. 3 additional years, it just toned out, because the 15, it's maybe too harsh of a term, but sometimes those tannins, I'll do get some of that astringency on it, but I use that to my advantage, not to keep plugging one of my good accounts, 5 Crowns, but that's when the cheese plate comes in.
Yes, like
getting
I'm
better.
going to be more of a 15 guy. I can tell you immediately after tasting the 18 who I would recommend the 18 to. And honestly, it's the guys I know, the execs who like spending the money on the Macallan 18, who can save themselves a shitload of money and still get a really good dram out of it.
Well, there's,
Okay.
the thing is, people spend a lot of money on Macallan for the name Macallan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the smoothness of the 18, but I, like Jason, I agree, the 15 is my
The sweet spot,
choice.
yeah.
It just, the tannins give it that, something. And I like that.
There's something about that 15, I kind of struggle with this because as Americans, young country, we're enamored with something with a number on it. That's why it's really hard. We've got some solid non-age statements, no age statements, that some people go, if I don't see a number, I don't want anything to do with it. So that's one set of problems. For me, when I see something 18 or older in the single malt world, I'm always asking myself this: is the whiskey getting better, or is there a specific flaw that's trying to be
Hidden.
Covered up.
polished over? Not trying to be cynical.
Oh,
18 years is a long time, let alone the 20 and and all that. So to get to my actual point, what I found is 15, for some reason, 15 seems to be a very sweet spot. Old Pulteney, one of my brands, the 15 sweet spot. 18's great, phenomenal, but the 15's it's right there. It's right there.
the Hot Art is good too. on that.
Ball Blair, 15, phenomenal. The 18
Mm.
super decadent. It's like putting an extra scoop of chocolate ice cream on the cake. Like, do I really need that? I'm gonna eat it, but that 15 is just in that perfect spot as far as spice, balance, mouthfeel. And then
And
Speyburn
interest. Interest as well. Like,
Correct.
every sip of the 15 has got something going on there. The 18, just a lot more mellow, Yeah.
Now, for sake of just kind of turning the thought process, if you're looking for a dessert whiskey, this would kill it.
Oh yeah. 18 is
18's good for that.
Okay, the 18 would make a wonderful, after dinner whiskey.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But Maurice said it himself, the 15 would be great with dinner.
Oh, well, I mean,
So
I absolutely. So
Yeah.
to practice Maurice's wonderful, although I never usually do it, I'm going to add water to mine and see what he does.
Am I forgiven? No.
Although someone mentioned, I can't remember who, that one of the other expressions had a sweet crema note, which I wonder would make a good dessert whiskey.
Well,
Oh, you
There
heard
goes
that?
away with a drop of
you're
water.
all making fun of me because y'all do anyway. And I'm okay with that.
So I just
we do
remember
it behind your back mostly, though, if
Yeah.
it makes
Well,
you feel any better.
they do, and then I just smile and my sweet smile.
The another analogy that I use between the 15 and the 18 is the 15, I can have more than one dram in a sitting. When I get to an 18, like a Ball Blair 18, for me, that's a one and done. That is
For just a
sitting
minute.
by a fireplace or having a great blather conversation, whatever. But that's going to cap the evening. We're done after that. Whereas a 15, I'm going to have more than one dram in a sitting.
But
I agree with you on that, Maurice. Like, I totally get that. The 18, I also get a lot of cinnamon on the palate. That dessert, I mean, it's rich, it's viscous. I mean, it's beautiful. But like you said, it's a one and done. Something that I'm gonna drink on a regular basis. I look at the 15, I can get it for less than half the price of the 18, I'm going there all day.
And
So
I mean, it
what's-
sounds like we're crapping on the 18, but I mean, it's beautiful. It's delicious and it's amazing. But that just also shows you, if coming from that 15, what a unique and special thing was, coming off of that one.
I think it also speaks to this group as well, and what drives us as whiskey drinkers. But I'm curious to know what type of wood is used in the 18, because I think the wood has a lot to do with the 15.
So again, for the American white oak, it's second and third fill ex bourbon cask. We have some hogshead, and then barrels that have been seasoned with sherry, Oloroso sherry. So American oak and Spanish oak. So the American oak, you're going to get your vanilla notes taken from that. And then your Spanish oak, your European oak, you get a little bit of, I think you're getting more of that astringency because it's, I believe it's a denser grain of wood. So each type of wood is giving a specific attribute during that maturation process.
But
Is the
what's the
Spanish
difference?
another use? So is the second and third fill as opposed to a first fill?
No, it's a first fill because it's seasoned. So basically we send those casks to the bodega, and they're basically seasoning or conditioning the wood. And typically 90% of the time that sherry, once it's released, that's being used as cooking sherry commercially.
But what's the difference in the wood?
3 years, right?
No, I'm sorry.
It's just a 15-year-old plus 3 more years. It's the same
Yes,
composition.
correct.
Oh, okay.
And then
So
Kate,
that
I'm sorry, Kate,
answers-
you were saying something about the wood. I want to make sure I'm answering.
I think that answered my question. The difference between the 15 and the 18 in terms of the wood.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same process, same specs, just 3 years older.
Okay.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
still just the seasoned sherry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's great about that exercise
Wow.
is just seeing what 3 additional years bring to the table.
Wow, it's really amazing.
Yeah, because you get more of the sherry and less of the wood.
Yeah. But you get some more of that cinnamon, as someone
Mhm.
mentioned earlier. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely the 18's more of a dessert type of after dinner drink. Yeah.
So I didn't want to interrupt with your lovely wood conversation, Kate, because you always ask much more intellectual, I don't.
We're being nerds.
Well, I am too. But I did add water to mine because it was really sweet for me, like almost too much. And I
Cloying.
like a good glass of Armagnac, right? But I'm gonna say I added 1 drop, and I'm gonna say now what was too sweet has now become like this marvelous after dinner whiskey.
All right, here we go.
Do you want yours to
Yeah.
run?
Here we go.
Yeah, I tried these 3.
Yeah.
I like this one.
It has warmed up in my hand and has now really become a really nice after dinner whiskey.
Wow. No, you're right. I mean, really different. It's amazing.
I mean-
we're gonna eat dinner. Thank you so much, Maurice, everybody.
Nice
See
to
ya.
meet you.
Cheers.
Hi, Benno.
Good seeing you,
Nice to
brother.
know.
Yep.
Hope to run into you soon.
Yep.
Hey, anybody that is part of or attends the whiskey societies at Bar Jackalope, LA.
Yeah.
I'm doing the end of the year tasting on the 17th, December 17th.
Oh,
December
December.
17th. Okay, well, we hope to see you then.
I'll be there. Hope to see you there.
Let me put that on my calendar now. Oh, that's a Saturday.
That's a
Saturday.
Saturday. We love Saturdays, Benno.
Well, it's 5:30 on a Saturday, so
Oh, come on, we love Saturdays.
all right.
Are we all going? Is that what I just heard?
Well, if you were out here in LA,
I'm in LA.
then come on, join us at
All
Jackalope.
right.
By the way, are you gonna be at Whiskey and Barrel Night next week, Maurice?
I will see you there.
Oh,
right.
you're gonna be there, Maurice?
Yes, I
Okay,
will.
maybe we'll have to try.
Perfect. Yep, I'll see you there.
Okay.
And I'll have a side of crema to pair with each.
Bye, Benno. Bye,
I'll
Sarah
give it-
Bye,
Jane.
Benno.
Use
Good
my
seeing you, brother.
crema.
See you guys. Yeah, see you. Thanks, Vadim. See you guys.
Has anybody added a drop to the 15?
I added one tiny drop. It is beautiful.
I didn't to the 15 because I couldn't. That was too marvelous. But this one,
Right?
I think this one so much improved with that little bit.
Yeah.
It
really
was
nice.
way,
call.
it was way too sweet before. I couldn't, I almost couldn't. I was
That's-
to the point of I almost can't.
But that's
I-
also interesting because that means I can give that finding a whiskey that you can recommend to your non-whiskey friends because they're going to like the sweetness. And the only thing you have to tell your whiskey friends is add 1 drop of water. It is a nice kind of, recommendation because there are
But
things
if they
that,
like cognac, if they don't like cognac, then they won't
Mhm.
like this.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's a great point. It does very have those cognac-y, Armagnac-y features to it. Absolutely.
Because I really love I love Armagnac. Now this is not an Armagnac. This is much more of a cognac-y feel. Okay. But yeah, poll results.
Please.
Look at, I'm on your side, Lori.
Drum roll.
Maurice, what do you think was the favorite of the night?
Okay, I'm gonna overthink this, but I think that the sherry, the 15 and the 18 sucked all the air out of the room.
I want you to.
That we were all just tripping the light fantastic over the Aranta cask. And I think we just had a blackout when we tasted the 15 and the 18. So I think it's 15 Aranta, 18 10.
Okay. The results are in. 15 by a landslide.
Yeah.
60% voted for the 15. Companion takes second place with 20%. Aranta third place with 13 and 18 bringing up the rear.
We are pouring our second pour of the 15 in honor of that.
Nice.
You know what? If you had done a first, second, and third, for me, it would have been exactly this: 15 Companion and Aranta.
Mm-hmm.
And just barely between the Companion and the Aranta, they're just so different, but both very enjoyable. Yeah.
I am very pleasantly surprised. I mean, Alec and I nipped ahead of time, I won't lie. But I will say that the upper ages of the Speyburn have been very, very, very pleasantly surprising to us.
That's good. Well, this is how we do it. One little trench at a time, one tasting at a time. So hopefully this time in X amount of years, Speyburn will emerge from the depths of obscurity.
no, I want it to stay affordable.
Yeah.
I'm not
Sorry.
telling anyone about this.
Sorry,
okay.
Maurice.
Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna keep it at the cult status. We're all gonna come in with robes next tasting, right? Secret handshake.
Perfect.
Oh.
We've tried that on Zoom. It gets awkward.
We can tell them about the 10, but nobody talks about the 15.
Okay, there we go. What's the first rule of Speyburn? Nobody talks about the 15, right?
Wow. What a surprising evening. Thank you very much. And thank you, Vadim, for bringing this to us.
Absolutely.
And-
Thank you so much. It was great seeing you all. And this
Thank you so much.
really gives me joy presenting this. And then I love it. I really enjoy when most of the participants or consumers haven't tried some of my brands, because it's a great learning opportunity. And yeah, it's just fun. This has been great.
So I wanted to add one last thing from my point. I went back to the 10, and it's a bit like I enjoyed it even more like after going through the rest of that and then coming back to the 10,
Yeah.
that for whatever reason, it came out even like more enjoyable, after some of those others. So interesting random.
I can tell you exactly why, because the 10, I always consider the 10. I use the term as far as okay, so like we said that the 18 is for me is like that's my one and done. Like we're done for the night, sit by the campfire, light the cigar, tell the jokes or whatever. But like that's the handshake. We had a great day, great evening, right? Off to Betty Bye after this. The 15 and the 18, we're working those sherry muscles. We're talking about raisins and the wood and stuff. The 10-year for me is I consider that for a single malt the aperitif. That's your beginning, right? Especially hot weather. You had a long day. You had a bad day. That 10's not making you want to just bliss out and not think. The 10's there for you. It's not like going in different crazy directions. It's like, I'm here for you. I'm like a soft little blanket. So I think the reason you enjoyed going back to it is because we were doing all these gymnastics about just the sherry, the difference between the 15 and the 18, and then going back to the 10, you got that fruit. It kind of livened up your palate again. It just brought a little bit of a life and effervescence back to the palate.
Nice. I dig it. Yeah, it was definitely interesting. So good explanation.
Does anybody else taste some, I don't know what it is, but maybe smoke? A little bit of smoke on the first 3 expressions, or at least the first 2 expressions.
But it's unpeated.
No, I know, I didn't say peat. I said
It might be
smoke,
the
and I'm
barrel
just
char.
curious if anybody else.
Get that.
Actually, I think you're getting the barley. I think the barley is coming through in a little bit of wisp of smoke because it's because of the youngness, especially with that first one, that you're getting just this wisp of the dried hull.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe because of the youngness of it and being cooked.
Yeah, that would make sense to me, because I didn't taste it in the latter expressions. So I was just curious if anybody else got it. I didn't want to interfere with the tasting notes because of the Jedi reasons, as Maurice pointed out.
It also might just be like maybe you're picking up on the wood char.
Cerealness to them. And that was what I thought about them. I mean, they're all nice whiskeys, but the first 3 I thought were cereal dominant.
And I know that Maurice mentioned that. He said the first one specifically was going to have cereal notes.
Tons of cereal
It was
notes,
young.
just because it's young. Yeah.
Right. We expect that, yeah.
Liquid porridge.
That's what you drink for breakfast, right, Elisa?
Yeah.
Well,
Breakfast of champions.
40%. That's what you said. I heard you.
on those days when I can have, brunch with, my family, 40% is a great brunch whiskey. Honestly, it is. Instead of mimosas, why would somebody choose to have a lot of that sugar and then fall asleep by noon? No. I would rather have a 40% whiskey. Absolutely. I would choose this 100%.
I love the logic.
100%. It makes no sense to have all of that terrible bad Prosecco wine and all of that sugar and fall asleep by noon. It makes no sense to me. And yet I have all those friends that want bottomless mimosas, and I get my 2 whiskeys and they're like, oh, you're drinking whiskey at breakfast. And I'm like, okay, you're drinking bottomless mimosas. You're going to have 6 drinks to my 2. What?
Do the math.
Very lovely drams here, Maurice. Thank you so much.
Yes, I will tell you, I was very impressed by the 15, very much. And I will also say that really, 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 for those whiskey drinkers, that are like, oh my gosh, this last one is extremely way too sweet. No, no, no.
Mhm.
So add a drop. Add a drop of water, and I did it just because I was like, okay, what the heck? Maurice said, add a drop of water to the earlier one. And so I said, okay, I'll just keep doing it.
Well, you
And-
know what? I'm glad you said it, because I think I need to actually add a little bit more to that in the sense that a wee bit, I mean, just a little bit to open it up, because I was surprised I didn't say it tonight. I always try to train myself to say it, is add just a little bit. You can always add more. You can't take it out once it's in there. But for me, the whole thing about adding water is, you know, I've got this new make that goes into a barrel, and you go through this process of years of that barrel in the hot months, soaking in, sucking up some of that new make, and then the winter comes and it's spitting it out. And that new make that's been extracted from the wood is bringing in those vanillins and those vanilla notes, those cocoa notes. And then over a course of years, you've got that process, but then you put it in a bottle and it's tight, you know, super tight, with the exception of, you know, 40%, right? So just adding a little bit of water opens up those, what we call those congeners, those fatty acids. And that's why you get a little burst of floral notes on it.
Well,
And it adds a
there's
little creaminess to it.
Yeah, there's a chemical reaction though that occurs. And you know, the other thing that one could try if they don't want to add water. Okay. For those of you that do not want to add water because you're scared, okay, use a wine decanter.
It's interesting.
I mean, that's the other way to put it, is add air. I mean, because what you're doing is essentially causing a different chemical reaction.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
And I'm fortunate enough, I got this with a tasting kit. I don't know, was this tasting kit or maybe a past one? This is like from Hodling, our distributor, or our supplier.
Well, I mean, I sent those out.
Yeah, but this, I
ago.
love this one. It's better than any glass one that I've had, but it's so precise. It's so precise. And I don't know.
When we first started doing virtual tastings 2 years ago, I had bought like 100 of those and I just threw them into a bunch of tasting kits.
And I think it's got this really long needle nose. It's really easy to gauge.
Well, I think the whole thing fits like 3 milliliters. Like,
Yeah, I've got like 4 of these in my drawer. They're great.
Gee, Amanda, some of us don't have those.
I'm sure you could probably get one from Vadim.
There you go.
He's got
Gee,
97
Vadim.
left. Supplies are limited.
Order now. Now. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, we got someone that went back to the old school. Bladen Ulrich.
They're different when you want to taste. I rinse my glass.
Just, I mean, seriously, very lovely expressions here. I'm really so happy that I joined in on this tasting, and I'm so happy Vadim brought it to us and that you brought it to us. Thank you.
Yeah, I ran out of whiskey, so Vadim needs to send me more.
That can be arranged. Awesome. Well,
Okay,
thank
so
you all
I'm gonna hit up Keith and see if we can get him to bring in some new expressions. And then is David Otherland Gerard, he's still the big guy at KNL?
He is.
He's still, I haven't talked to him in a while. I gotta reach out to him.
Yeah, Dave OG, give him a call. For sure. Well, thank you so much, Maurice. Thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. This has been absolutely fantastic. We're gonna wrap it up and just hang out off recording. So thanks everyone. I'll see you at the next one in a couple of weeks.
Thanks everybody.
Again, is really good.
Yamazaki.